don't wanna be what you want me to be.
Hi, we're from Group 11 and under our sulam project, we've done an anti-cyberbullying awareness initiative and we'd like to share them with you. Let's talk about it.
Let's dive into our target community, which are teenagers aged between 13 and 17 years old in Malaysia. According to data reported in the year of 2024, 7.4% of Malaysian populations fall within this age group. Teenagers make up a significant portion of Malaysian online users. They actively engage in internet for a variety of purposes like entertainment, communications, and also education. Our project places a special focus on teenagers from Praise Emmanuel Children's Home, located in Section 6 of Petaling Jaya. PCH is a charitable home for abandoned and neglected children, accommodating residents aged 7 to 21 years old. It aims to provide a safe and nurturing environment which emphasizes education and spiritual guidance, helping to shape the children into responsible and capable individuals. According to Pastor Isaac, who oversees the home, 54.5% of residents are teenagers, totaling 12 individuals. This statistic highlights just how relevant and timely it is to engage this group in discussions about online safety and cyberbullying. By reaching out to this community, we aim to empower them with the knowledge and values needed to navigate the digital world safely and positively.
In fact, they may be more vulnerable to cyberbullying due to the limited parental guidance, low digital literacy, and increased emotional impact. Pastor Isaac, the head of the PCH, shared that the children have never been exposed to any form of digital sensitive education and expressed that our program would be very highly beneficial. Since these teens engage online just like their age, it is essential to raise awareness about cyberbullying and most importantly to inform of their legal rights and protections.
So now let's talk about what kind of legal issues arises due to the problem. Now let's understand the identified problem. Cyberbullying is increasingly common among students, especially teenagers, due to the widespread use of social media. It can cause severe emotional distress and in extreme cases lead to self-harm or suicide. Many students thus feel helpless against anonymous attackers and cases often go unreported due to the lack of awareness and support. Now let's take a closer look at legal issues surrounding cyberbullying in Malaysia. The first issue would be whether the Communications and Multimedia Act 1998 is sufficient to address cyberbullying by prohibiting offensive and abusive online communications. The main legal provision here is Section 233 of the Communications and Multimedia Act 1998. This section criminalizes the use of network services to send offensive content with the intent to annoy, abuse, threaten, or harass. While this may sound promising, there are critical limitations. This act does not clearly define cyberbullying, making interpretation and enforcement inconsistent. It also fails to address repeated behaviors, sustained harassment, or abuse specifically targeted at minors. Most importantly, it leans more toward punishment than prevention, which doesn't support long-term behavior change or awareness. Secondly, whether the provision on criminal intimidation and defamation under Section 499, 500, 503, and 506 of Penal Code are adequate to address acts of cyberbullying. Several sections of the Penal Code are relevant here. Section 499 and 500 deal with criminal defamation. Section 503 covers criminal intimidation, and Section 506 states the punishment for criminal intimidation. However, each comes with practical limitations. Defamation, which is under Section 499 and 500, requires proof of reputational harm, which is hard to prove, especially among teenagers and on social media where comments often lack lasting impact or formal documentation. Under Section 503 demands a clear and credible threat, which many cyberbullying cases don't explicitly present. While Section 506 provides for punishment, the process is limited by evidentiary and procedural hurdles. All this comes to one conclusion, that while the provision under Section 499, 500, 503, and 506 of the Penal Code provide a basic legal framework to address aspects of cyberbullying, they are ultimately inadequate in practice due to their narrow scope, evidentiary burdens, and lack of specificity through the digital environment. Thirdly, whether anonymous and fake accounts online hinder the identification and persecution of perpetrators in cyberbullying cases. One of the major challenges in cyberbullying cases is the use of anonymous and fake accounts. These accounts hide the identity of perpetrators, making it extremely difficult for victims and even law enforcement to trace and hold them accountable. Even when a case is reported, investigators often face legal and technical barriers such as cross-border jurisdiction issues, delays in obtaining user data from social media platforms, and in some cases, a lack of digital forensic resources locally. All these factors lead to a common outcome. Many cases go unresolved, which in turn undermines public trust in the legal system's ability to tackle online abuse. Lastly, whether the absence of specific legislation dedicated to cyberbullying limits the effectiveness of legal protection and remedies for the victim. Currently, Malaysia does not have any dedicated law specifically addressing cyberbullying. While laws such as the Child Act 2001, the Penal Code, and the Communication and Multimedia Act can be applied, enforcement remains fragmented. This patchwork approach creates confusion, inconsistency, and ineffective protection. Victims may struggle to access justice not because their cases aren't serious, but because there is no unified legal framework guiding how these incidents could be handled. Without a clear legal definition of cyberbullying, specific investigative procedures, and dedicated enforcement mechanisms, both victims and law enforcement are left without the tools they need to respond effectively.
Now let's take a look at legal theories which were most applicable and required. The sociological theory defines law as a social phenomenon closely tied to the society it governs. It includes not just formal rules and sanctions, but also social norms. In this view, law shapes society and society shapes the law. We have four justifications as to why this legal theory is applicable. The first one would be cognitive-based engagement. Our project applies the sociological theory of law by directly engaging real people, teenagers who are members of the society. We have also extended this engagement to online community by creating a social media account to raise awareness about cyberbullying, showing how law and norms can be shaped through community interaction, both online and offline. Secondly, social norms in action. Throughout the physical activities, we educate teenagers about the do's and don'ts of online behavior. By sharing weekly cyberbullying awareness content on social media, we promote informal social norms such as spreading kindness, empathy, and respect to influence digital conduct. This reflects how community values and informal norms play a key role in shaping behavior, just as sociological theory suggests. Our last justification would be behavioral change. We aim to instill positive moral values and reshape conduct within the online community to demonstrate that law can evolve not only by enforcing punishment, but to share and values and community awareness, which is a key principle in legal theory. Thus, this is one sociological theory of law is an applicable legal theory. Now moving on to the second legal theory.
Functionalist approach. So the functionalist approach is a way of understanding society by looking at how different parts work together like a system to maintain stability and order. And it's a structural theory that focuses on the role of social institutions like the family, education, religion, and law, and how these institutions are organized to shape both how society functions and how individuals behave. And now, why does the functionalist approach apply to our project? Firstly, it is because it is promoting social stability. Our team, cyber advocates, actively manages an Instagram account that shares informative content on a weekly basis by raising awareness about respectful online behavior and spreading positivity. We aim to restore social order and harmony in the digital space. And in addition to our online efforts, we also conducted a physical outreach at Praise Emmanuel Children's School, focusing on educating teenagers about responsive behavior online. And this promotes a harmonious and safe online community. And lastly, our role in shaping norms and behavior. Functionalism emphasizes that even without formal legal enforcement, law can still function by shaping social values and behavior. And our project supports this idea. Our educational posts and outreach help to reinforce possible online norms like leaving kind commands and standing against cyber abuse. And through both our online campaigns and physical engagement, we are helping to instill ethical values and digital integrity in young people.
Embracing the growing issues of cyberbullying, our group adopted several proactive strategies under the sulam project by LIA with the primary objective of combating cyberbullying through meaningful community engagement. One of our initial initiatives was the creation of a dedicated social media account named the Cyber Advocates, aimed at educating the public on the dangers of cyberbullying. Through this platform, we share weekly informative content that promotes digital safety and ethical online behavior. Additionally, we launched a public donation drive via our social media account to encourage community contributions in support of praise educationers from PECH, our chosen outreach committee. During our visit to PECH, we organized a comprehensive anti-cyberbullying awareness talk tailored to the teenagers residing there. The program included interactive activities such as mini games that highlighted the ways of cyberbullying, and educational session focusing on the legal rights of victims and the distribution of informative booklets. These booklets contain essential information on identifying cyberbullying, tips on how to respond, and contact details for relevant helplines offering support.
And to gain deeper insights into community perspectives, we conducted an online survey to assess the level of awareness and attitudes towards cyberbullying among general public. And furthermore, we interviewed Mr. Gunalan, a practicing lawyer who has actively advocated for the introduction of specific legislation against cyberbullying in Malaysia. And his legal insights helped us better understand the current shortcomings in Malaysian law and highlighted the need for targeted legal reform. And although the project was carried out over a limited time frame, we believe it made a meaningful contribution towards long-term awareness and prevention by integrating social media advocacy to community outreach and at the same time an expert consultation. Our project aimed to create an impact that extends beyond awareness by inspiring behavioral change and encouraging legal dialogue around this pressing issue.
Now let's take a look at the potential solutions when it comes to addressing cyberbullying laws.
We'll be looking at a table of comparisons between Malaysia's legal framework and other countries. Let's first take a look at Malaysia and the UK. Secondly, we'll go into Malaysia and Australia. Thirdly, we'll go into Malaysia and Singapore. And lastly, between Malaysia and the Philippines. In conclusion, we can see that Malaysia does not have a specific law dedicating to cyberbullying. Meanwhile, in other countries outside of Malaysia are all practicing laws that specifically are dedicated to cyberbullying laws.
So, this brings us to the question of how can Malaysia curb the instances of criminals rising to another country as well.
The first method is legislation action by drafting a specific provision similar to Singapore's Protection from Harassment Act or Australia's Online Safety Act. The establishment of the Act clearly explicitly defined and criminalizing all cyber violence, hence strict penalties can be imposed upon any offences prohibited under the Act effectively. Next, issuance of protection orders against cyberbullying which allow victims apply for legal orders to prevent further harassment from cyberbullies. Similar orders can be referred to UK restraining orders and Singapore's protection orders. By enforcing such protection order, the right of a victim can be preserved by ensuring their safety and cease the possibility of continuous harassment. Thirdly, strengthening penalties under the Minor Offences Act which are too lenient by raising the amount of fines and also introducing harsher and stricter sentences such as lengthening the period of imprisonment, which this approach aims to absolutely deter any cyberbullying act. Last but not least, establishing a cyber safety authority to create an agency similar to Australia E-Safety Commissioner to supervise and manage all complaints, remove any violent content, and act as a team investigate cyberbullying cases in detail to identify all wrongdoers and charge them accordingly. They play a vital role in ensuring a harmony and friendly digital space is safe for everyone.
Cyberbullying.
Bye bye. Thank you, uncle.
I don't wanna be what you want me to be. I just wanna be myself. I don't wanna love who you.
This is the job distribution among all group members. None of this would have been possible without the dedication and effort from every single member of our group.